Mike Golic Jr., or Spooner, as you're known today, thanks, Jerry, are going to make your own list of the top 7 players in the NFC North. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
All right.
Number 7.
This list had a decided lack of one thing. Girth.
Forethought?
That too. But girth. So I decided to fix that. Number 7, Green Bay Packers defensive tackle Mike Daniels. 2017 Pro Bowler, juggernaut in the middle of the field for them, known anime and Dragon Ball Z fan. This guy is the total package.
You know, I like that, and plus, he's football guy, too. I mean, he's all about it. He is all about it. I like that. That's a good call by you.
Interior linemen are the currency of the modern NFL. So we've got Mike Daniels, number 7.
Number 6.
Again, in keeping with our theme of added girth, go Chicago Bears offensive lineman Kyle Long.
All right.
One of the singularly most talented offensive guards I've ever seen. Has every physical tool you could look for. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, was a second-team All-Pro a couple of years ago. You combine that with Harry Hiestand this season, their offensive line coach. I'm telling you, we're looking at what could and should be Kyle Long's best year as a Bear.
All right, so Kyle Long is number 6
Number
on your
5.
list.
Number 5, I'm going to go with what I talked about before, Everson Griffin. This guy, in addition to being a physical freak show, is a nonstop motor. I know Xavier Rhodes talked a lot about that in the article, but you see that on display, and with Danielle Hunter and the rest of the guys on this defensive line, it's a formidable group, but it starts and ends with the former USC product in Everson.
He's been great, and again, that's why they think Kirk Cousins is the missing piece, because they have everything else around him.
Number 4.
Number 4, this is where I'm going to slide. Number 2 seemed a bit high for me for Matt Stafford, but you got to give him, as you mentioned, the football guy exemption. He has all of those Brett Favreisms. I think if you're looking for a quarterback in the NFL that's got the most flavor of Brett Favre's personality, I'd be hard-pressed to put someone above Stafford. I remember, at Thanksgiving of a game a couple years ago,
Cleveland.
that dive over the goal line right there, gets up to the line. He's fiery, he's passionate, he's tough as nails. He's got an absolute howitzer for an arm. He's all the things you want in a quarterback with just a little bit of inconsistency.
By the way, I think that's interesting. That was a game against Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think the year before on Thanksgiving, he was knocked down to the ground on a long completion, and he was wired up, and you heard him just like, lying on the ground. And then they got down to the goal, and he went back in, stayed in the game, and completed the game-winning touchdown.
Full-on gunslinger.
Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3, this is, again, where I got to put my guy. Harrison Smith. Easily one of the weirdest people I've ever met in my life, but by far one of the greatest safeties.
Hold on. Before we go any further, we need examples of him being one of the weirdest guys you've ever met in your life. I want to know.
Harrison Smith was a fixture in Monday night karaoke's at Club 23 in South Bend, Indiana. Frozen Long Island's on deck for everybody, but Harrison would never sing, posted up in the corner. He's a very low-key guy.
So the fact that he wouldn't sing made him weird.
He's just, everything about him. Like, there's no one story that embodies the weirdness of Harrison Smith, but this is a guy who saw during Radio Row at the Super Bowl in their hometown, Minnesota, and all he wanted to talk about was going back home to play Fortnite, back in his basement lair. He wants none of the shine. He is here for all of the football and, all of the Fortnite and a lot of things outside of that. But as a pure football player, too, probably the best safety, maybe the second best safety in the league. It's like, I know in the article they mentioned Eric Berry, Earl Thomas, and him really in that triumvirate. But Harrison truly is one of the most athletically gifted human beings I've ever met.
So if we could sum it up, you're saying Harrison Smith is the playing equivalent of Pitt tight end coach Tim Salem.
Yes.
He's all about the football.
All about it.
And Fortnite.
Yeah, and Fortnite.
Okay.
So we've got all that involved.
All right, gotcha.
Number 2.
Number 2, and this is where we believe I'm going to give Xavier Rhodes a pass. Say, he wrote this maybe during training camp or something. Some things are still up in the air. Khalil Mack. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
this is
I think that Khalil Mack probably should have been in there, depending on when this thing was written. We don't know.
Realistically, the editor did him no favors here. Editor should have just taken a little bit of creative license and stuck that in so Xavier didn't look like ridiculous.
Exactly, saying this was taken before the Khalil Mack trade.
Yeah, because Khalil Mack is easily, I think we could say easily the second best player just by walking in. This is the equivalent of LeBron James putting on a Laker uniform and becoming one of the best Lakers to ever play.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack walks into this division and now becomes its second best player.
And again, to recap, what he did in the first half Sunday night against Green Bay, a sack, forced fumble, fumble recovery, interception, or a pick six. The last person to do that in a game was Khalil Mack.
All right. You ready for number 1?
Let's do it.
All right.
Number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got fancy for number 1.
Lot of deliberation on this one.
Really?
Had to get long and hard.
Really?
Me, Devin, Stanzik put our heads together during the break. Really feel strongly about this one. Devin's very excited right now. Recoiling. You ready for number 1, Trey? You ready
I think
for
this
one?
is going to be like Stugat's reaction to my starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, well, you mentioned it.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
New money on. You got to spoil it like that? Sorry. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my God.
It's Aaron Rodgers, guys.
That was.
I mean, I build it all up. I'm trying to create this. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins coming over.
No.
All that new money, something like that. Create a little suspense.
No.
It's Aaron, I mean,
We
yeah,
all
it's
knew
Aaron
where
Rodgers.
you were going. And by the way, you're right to go there. Well, we all knew where you were going.
Trey, you got a list coming up. I'll spoil that thing right now.
Oh no,
Okay, that's fine.
No,
I'm okay with that. Just so you know.
no.
Don't
take that away from me.
That's not going to ruin my Wednesday. I mean,
It's going to ruin my
go right
Wednesday.
ahead.
You just ruined mine.
Did you really? Really?
I mean,
you were flummoxed that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be the top player in the NFC North.
I mean, you had 3 fat guys at 7, 6, and 5. I don't know what was coming.
Yeah, you did.
They're really good.
You can
fat
pretend
guys,
like
though.
you didn't, but you did.
Maple syrup shots for those guys.
There you go.
Big boy